Hi everyone, Clyde Bryant here, coming to you with episode 7 of the Uptown Experts podcast, and I'm here with the one and only Diogo Snow.
Thanks for having me, brother. Oh my God. Pleasure to be here, my bro.
Oh my. So this one is extra special because not only are you coming to sit down with us and talk to us about, you, the artist, the philanthropist, the businessman, the entrepreneur, but you blessed me with an amazing piece prior to hopping on the podcast here today. And, I want to say thank you for delivering everything that I was looking for.
And, we went through a lot of conversations for me to be able to create this beautiful piece for you, but I'm excited. And I'm happy that you loved it, man.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me.
Well, I mean, I know I'm not a simple guy, but, like sitting down with you and just talking to you a little bit about, what I wanted the piece to display, to show. And, I didn't want just the regular art piece, the single layer. I wanted something that had depth, something that, you took the time to stand in front of. And that's exactly what you delivered. Because to the average individual, it might just be, a simple lion or, just the Lamborghini. And, they just keep walking. But to the educated eye, the one that stops to take a look, they'll realize that there's so much more going on. And, being able to capture that from, a simple conversation that we had is it takes skills. It takes, that creativity that I see. It's that vibe that I caught from you. That's why I said to you, when I first met you, it's just like, there's something about this guy, right? He's not just, the artist. And you hit this one out of the park, man.
I'm glad you liked it, man. That's the beauty about my custom art pieces, right? Again, I didn't stop doing that. I told you that from the beginning, right? But I'm just doing for, my main collectors and some special people. And of course, you are one of them. We do have a lot of close friends and, we're in the same circle. But yeah, the beauty about the custom piece is that, right? The way I create, I always have a conversation before I start creating, right? So I can envision everything before. And then the beauty about it is that you can stop and there's so much happening that pretty much, get you inside of the art piece, so gives you that the vibe, the energy, and all the time that I put it to create that piece.
I can't wait to put this thing up, right? So, this is, as I said, it's extremely special. And thanks again, because this is, this is what it's about, right? So now to the fun stuff, right? What everyone wants to know is, who is Diogo Snow?
Yes, Diogo Snow, I'm this happy dude, simple dude, and born and raised in Brazil, São Paulo. Grow up listening to my dad, playing guitar, on the birthday parties and stuff, the family reunion and stuff. And yeah, I started playing drums when I was 9. I had a passion for the music, and when I was 9, I started playing drums. When I was 14, I started painting and drawing, right? And then it was funny because in school, I used to hate school. And yeah, it's something that even my mom looked at me today. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're an artist. You made it. Because first she thought I was going to be like an actor or like a famous drummer or something on a famous band.
What about the piano? I saw you play the piano.
Yes,
you played the piano.
I do play, yeah. I do play a little bit. Me and my brother were like this, we do play a little bit of everything, I do play a little bit piano, guitar as well, bass. My brother's a bass player.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Full of
and
artists.
drums, was my passion. Actually, I started playing guitar because I see my daddy playing, but and then I find myself, into the drum. I'm like, no, I don't want to play guitar. I love the drums. I want to be a drummer. So I became a drummer. So when I was 9, my grandma gave my first drum set. And then we put a band together in my villa in Brazil. So it was me, my brother's a bass player, another friend was a guitar player, and 2 girls singing. So we were playing all over, like all over our city there, birthday parties, in the school and all that. So that's how I started. And then from there, my mom, she told me, right? She was like, listen, if you love it, we're going to put you on a drum school, right? So you can, make it everything, on another level.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, that's what I love. I want to do it. So I went to school. I started learning drums. And it was funny because, not because it was me, but I was so good at it. And my teacher at the time, he told me, I did, I think, like 6 months. And he's like, Diogo, I have nothing else to teach you. You have to look for another school. So, because I was doing really good. So, it was literally my passion, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I played drums my whole life. Played for so many bands, so many, famous singers and stuff. And when I was 14, I started doing graffiti. I had a passion for it, So I used to just sketch in school, which my mom was giving me a hard time. And then, through that sketch, I was going on the streets. I'm like, Mom, I want to do some graffiti, just give me some money. I want to buy some spray cans and I want to try on the walls, exactly, right? Yeah. Right? So I was asking for permission and just going all over, Brazil and just graffitiing walls. But yeah, that was me. And then I moved to Canada. My brother came here first. And then I moved right after. And then I started doing construction, something completely different from everything. Because I tried so much in Brazil as a musician. Yeah. And I never thought that I was going to paint and be an artist before, My focus was into music, That was my thing, and art for me was just my hobby, right? It's just something that I was doing it was my therapy at the time. Just to stay out of trouble, right? I used to go on the streets, do my thing, have my Walkman on at the time, remember? With
the yellow Walkman?
Yes. And, I used to do my thing. But then I came to Canada. I started working construction, something completely different, because music wasn't working for me in Brazil anymore. And I did construction for 3 years. After that, I told my brother, I'm like, we need a band for us to play because we are musicians, Okay. We love music, right? So what we're doing, just wasting our time in construction. Exactly. So let's try something different here, right? So we put a band together, start playing, and put a band together. We recorded our first CD here in Canada. There was a Canadian singer, this girl, Trish. She was singing with us, and we were touring all over Canada, doing our thing. I put my energy for this band, and then it didn't work, and I put my energy and my time for different bands. My brother ended up getting married, having kids, and he's like, I'm not gonna play anymore. I can't do this. So he was just, kept going on the construction side of it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to stop, So I was trying, and then nothing worked. I ended up becoming a singer.
So you went from drummer, construction, singer.
To a singer. Because, it was funny. Because of that, I was putting my energy for so many people that sometimes you don't know if they have the same mentality as you, right? I was always the go-getter, right? When I believe in something, I always go. And because I was doing this for so long, I just felt that I'm like, I can't be putting my energy for people that they don't have the same energy as me, and they don't have the same vision as I do, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing. Because, coming from the music side, I understand music. I'm not a singer, but I learned how to sing with my own voice, right? So I put my first CD together, started doing my thing, and just excited because now all the energy I'm putting for myself
It's
as
yours.
a solo artist, a solo singer. And I'm like, if one day it doesn't work, at least I tried, and it was for myself. It was not for others, right?
Exactly.
So I did for 7 years, was really good. I did songs with millions of views on YouTube, big hits in Portugal. I did a big hit in Brazil with like a big celebrity. And, but I kind of like got stuck because I was investing all my money into my career because I was doing construction still. I had the company running. We had some workers. So pretty much I was working like 1 week, making that money, working, make sure everything was fine, and then get the money, invest into my career.
So you were doing both for how long?
Yes, I did for 5 years.
Oh my God.
And it was hard because I got on a point that I started messing up with my head because I had two different lives. Imagine, I had the life as a construction worker and I had the life as a celebrity, as a singer, having big hits, millions of views on YouTube, but I never got that right money. Right? I never got on that point that I'm like, now I'm good. Now I just gotta keep going, building my career, reinvesting the money. And, it was so hard, right? But the good thing was that because of that, I did all this. I traveled the world. I was, again, I was spending all my money in my career for traveling, flights, hotel, like this singer from Portugal. She approached me. She's like, "Oh my God, I love your style. I love your music. Do you want to come to Portugal?" But they're not paying for anything. They're like, if you want, because she's already a big singer, so she's giving me an opportunity because she liked my style, right? So I'm like, I'm down.
So
Putting all
invest in
this
yourself.
money, going there, recording the music video, doing TV shows, doing this, doing that. So I did that for 7 years. And then I got on a point that I got stuck with my career. And I'm like, I need somebody with the right money to just bring me to the next level. So when I was looking for somebody, and at the same time, my son born. So I'm like, oh my God. Now I cannot put all this money into my career. Now I have a baby at home, right? So I put in my head, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to stop, but I'm going to put a break. I'm going to let it go. Whatever happens to my career, but I'm going to go back to the construction with my brother, which we had a company before. And I'm just going to manage it with him, just go back to it, just do my thing. And then if something happens in my career, it's going to happen. It was funny because I decided to do this break, and then because I had this big hit in Portugal, those two guys from Canada, they used to won a big Portuguese festival. And one of my friends tried to sell my show, so they like, yeah, we do want Diogo Snow to perform in our festival, how's his career? It's like, oh, he's kind of like stuck here, kind of explain to this. No, you guys come for a meeting. So we went for a meeting, and, they're like, who's your manager? Who's taking care of your career? I'm like, nobody. I'm doing, it's like, you're doing all this by yourself, and you got on this level by yourself. I'm like, yeah, and now I need somebody, to kind of invest. And they're like, okay, how much you need? And, they start asking me questions. I'm like, okay.
I don't even know.
And it's so crazy because, I was on a point that I need somebody like this. And I'm like, oh my God, God knows,
Exactly.
I'm literally thinking about putting a stop in my career, and now these guys show up in my life. So I'm like, okay. So it's like, go home, let me know how much you want for us to buy into you, let me know how much you want, monthly, a salary, so you can be comfortable. And I always kept my lifestyle, good. I always, like the good stuff,
exactly.
Right? To feel, to live comfortable. So put everything on paper, say, okay, this. So when I went back, I got excited with the money.
Oh no.
And Diogo Snow didn't read the contract, and I didn't got a lawyer to read the contract.
Oh no.
So I kind of, went to the thing that I trust in, and, you know, a year and a half passed after this contract, and I was not doing music. You know, they put me in a box, and I was literally just on an office working 9 to 5, writing articles about celebrities for a magazine, for newspaper, doing a radio show, and I was blind. I got blind because of the money. But I realized that I was stressed out. I was not Diogo Snow anymore because, you know, I'm super, like, I'm a happy guy. I'm good with everybody. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're, you know, it's a homeless on the street or if anybody. Because for me, everybody's the same. And I treat everybody the same.
Exactly.
And I'm like, this is not me. I'm stressing myself out on this company and I'm not making music, right? So anyway, so when I went there to talk to them to kind of like go back and listen, I need to make music. I signed with you guys to make music. Say, oh no, now, you know, they kind of, you know, they play,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they
play
power,
the
you
game,
know, they have the
exactly.
power. Say, listen, let's get this guy. He has his name already. So let's use him to build our platforms,
Exactly.
right? And I'm like, okay, you know, nothing wrong with that, but it was not for me. So, and then when I went to tell them that I want to make music, I'm like, I'm not making music. They said, listen, now you got your money, you have a salary, now you have to work and make the money back, right? I'm like, oh my God, man. You know, it was just a life lesson for me. So
Yes.
one day I left the company for some issues that we had in there. Thank God I couldn't leave the company. And I got home super like stressed out still.
Well, now you still got a son at home.
And I still son at home and no job.
No job.
And I'm like, oh my God, what
And you
I'm
gotta go
gonna
talk to
do
your
to
wife.
my
Good
life?
luck.
Yes. I'm like, what I'm gonna do? So she was like, you know, I just relax, take your time and figure yourself out. And then it clicked in my head because it brought me the memories from Brazil when I used to go on the streets and do, like, you know, doing my graffiti.
Yes.
You know, I used to put my music on. I remember that for me, it was a therapy. It used to take me out of troubles or out of stress or anything, right? I'm like, you know what? Am I just gonna buy a canvas? Because I don't know where I'm gonna paint on a wall here.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I just gonna buy a canvas and just paint and put my music, relax, and just, you know, take the stress out of my body, right?
Exactly.
Painting. And I started painting and I was posting my stories. And then one guy reached out, say, oh my God, you're a drummer, you're a singer, and you paint too? I'm like, yeah, but it's just, you know, it's just my hobby. I'm just painting for fun. He's like, no, I love this art piece. How much you want? I'm like, I don't know how much I want. Just, you know, pay the material and take it. And, you know, and then painting again. And then this other guy was like, Diogo, I love this. How much you? I'm like, pay the material and take it. You know, there's no price. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my God, there's a business
There's
here.
a business here.
Yeah. You know, it's not my passion. It's just not my hobby anymore. I know I can turn this into a business.
Exactly.
And I started going more deep into the art, you know, understanding more about the art. And from there, everything changed. And I was like, oh my God, it's so crazy because God literally showed me everything. All my way, you know, those obstacles and on the way for me to get where I am right now.
Yes.
So, you know, today I just thank these guys for show up in my life, you know, and doing that for my, you know, for my life because, you know, it made me who I am, you know.
That is
It's crazy, right?
crazy.
That's a little bit of who Diogo Snow is.
Like, you know, just listening to the story, right? And it's funny that everyone you talk to that, you know, is maybe, you know, call it successful, they're doing well in life, they have, you know, that comfort. Everybody sees, you know, the sparkly objects, the things that come with it.
Always.
But they never see what you're talking about.
Yeah, the hard work before and all the struggles and all the hustling. It's true, man. And that's one thing that I'm start doing now. You know, that I'm kind of like I want to give back, right? And I want to share my story with the kids, right? Because I know that it's something that it's been affecting them so much because, listen, I would say like 50, 60% or even more stuff that you see on the internet today is fake.
Yeah.
It's people literally, just, and then the kids are actually looking at it. Oh my God, why this kid lives on this beautiful mansion?
Exactly.
Why this guy drives this beautiful car? And I know and why I cannot, right? So that's one thing that I'm doing now, that I'm doing a lot of donations to schools, and I'm going there and I'm talking to the kids, because at the end of the day, they're the future.
Yes.
Right? And I know that it's been hurting a lot of them, right? So I want to share my story, because first it's been helping a lot of kids. I already did this in Brazil. I'm going back there again. Now I'm going to do more. I started doing Canada, and and it helps me a lot, because they're so innocent.
I know.
And they're so amazing. When you talk to them, it's just, there's nothing, bad in their heads, right? So I just want to, do more and more and more, because it makes me feel good too.
Just want to talk to them.
And all the love that they share with you too. And plus, you can change. If you change one kid, I changed one kid's life in Brazil, that he was going through a hard time. And talk about bad, that I don't want to talk about, but I changed this kid's life. And I'm like, oh my God, if I can do this, and every single school that I stop, if I can change one kid's life,
it's all worth it.
I feel like a winner,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I'm doing right now, sharing my story for them to see that, there's that the belief that they can go, they can do it, they can believe in their dreams, they can go and get it. And the other way is to don't think that it's easy, we're living in La La Land and we just, all those things are gonna come to us. No, you have to work for it. You have to believe, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing, because I say that in schools too, because, everybody thinks, oh, it's nice to say, oh, believe. I do see a lot of people, I have a tattoo here that says believe.
Exactly.
And believe, oh, it's cool to say believe. But do you actually believe in yourself?
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
That's
right?
what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes true belief in yourself to be able to overcome the obstacle.
For sure.
And, we've all jumped through our obstacles or overcome our obstacles.
Yep.
And, it's just hearing the things that you've went through, it reminds me a little bit about, my story and, having to go through the obstacles. It's you got to make the choice. What do? Do you support the family? Did you're taking care of yourself, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You get knocked down, you got to get back up.
For sure.
Right.
For
and you think that everything's great, and maybe you find that great contract, and the next thing you know, it's not what you thought. And you got to start all over.
For sure. And, and it's something that, all those things that happen in my life, I don't take this, as a bad thing. I don't see this. I start thinking differently. I look this on a good way. So everything bad that happens in my life today, I always take on a good way. I'm still learning how to take this, but it's something that I just take it on a good way, and I turn this into a life lesson, into a positive thing, because it's actually true, in Brazil, I did had some problems that made me go and paint, here too, why, I got signed by these guys and now I'm going back. So it's all bad things that happen in my life that I turned this into a positive.
Because you need to go through it
for sure
in order to find your way forward.
So that's one thing, right? Another thing too, talk about the kids that I don't teach them. I just share my story and I tell them, right, that if it's something bad happens in your life, don't take this, as a bad thing. Just take this as positive and
grow from it.
And grow for sure. It's a life lesson.
It
right?
definitely
it's
is.
A life
and
lesson.
It's I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and as I said, it's just it kind of takes me back, right? Because not that I love to share my story. It's just I gone through some hard times. I told people in the last episode, I had a motorcycle accident, right? And life was good at the time, working for the banks. I was great, and I was comfortable. And next thing you know, boom. And my whole life changed, right? Being away from my family for almost 16 months, whatever it may have been. The kids were, with my wife at home, and they're coming over to the hospital to come and see me, and the struggles that does. And then the kids are saying, I want to see dad at his house. That's a hospital, right? And it starts doing something to you, right? To make you think that, like, what is this life? What's going on? And you gotta find a way back.
For
right?
sure.
And for you it was art, and it was music, and we all try to find that way back. And it's crazy because for me, as I've said this many times, my life changed then, right? And that's what kind of set me on the path that is Uptown here today, because I remember making that promise to God.
Wow.
Like, if you let me live.
How
right?
beautiful is that, right?
We just want to try to find a way to just help people and do what's right? Sure. And you're doing it through art. You're doing it now, talking to the kids, making a difference.
Yeah. I just realized that, right? That it can be anybody, anybody. It doesn't need to be the biggest celebrity in the world. It doesn't need to be anybody. But when you share your story, you can change someone's life. You can change people's life.
Definitely.
It's true. I've been, now lately, I just, been watching like a lot of documentaries and stuff. I'm shooting a documentary about my life too. And I've been watching so many documentaries, right? Because even from big artists like Banksy and Basquiat and stuff like that, I just been like, doing my research and just watching.
So you're educating yourself
for sure
about art while going through it.
And it's funny because even like Banksy and Basquiat, they pretty much, their story is so similar to mine. They start, doing the legal tags on the street. It's something that I didn't mention too, but I started doing that, right? I started doing the legal tags.
Don't tell them which ones. Don't tell them which ones.
Yes. And they're the same, right?
Yeah.
And today, listen, the art pieces are going for millions, right? That we don't even know. But, it's good for me to see, and just kind of like, wow,
So are those like your influences? Maybe some of your, I'm not going to say your favorite artists, because don't do that.
Yeah, no, they're not my favorite, but I love so many different artists. But, I like to catch, a little bit of their stories and stuff, And sometimes you can relate, right? Like you said, you related to my story too. And then from there, it gives us more, motivation and, and energy to just like keep going. I have people message me every day saying that, just don't stop sharing your story, because, you motivating us. You just you're helping people. I'm like, I love that. I love to hear that.
It's absolutely insane to think and to hear, I should say. It's, but like I said, there's something about you, man, because not everybody's going to do this. Not everybody's going to take the time out of their personal life to try to give back.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to do some of the things that you're doing.
And if everybody start doing this, man, I don't know.
Imagine where we'd be.
World. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can change the world.
Because I think people nowadays, not everybody, but people I just feel that they just want to be better than you. They just want to have more than you. And in my life today, I realized that money for me is not everything.
No.
Right? My happiness is everything. Because I already had, experience with money too, that, if you're doing what you love and you let it go organic, it's amazing. Right? But if you're forcing too much, if you try to chase that money and you stress yourself out doing this, you're just going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So, that's something that I learned too. And I know I use for myself actually, right? So now I just let everything go organic, and the best way possible, right? So I don't want to get stressed out. Even, sometimes, there's companies and approaching and try to do deal and do that. I'm like, I'm just doing my thing, at the right time, it's going to come, and I just, make the right move.
Yeah.
But now I'm just happy, and I'm just, I feel blessed doing what I'm doing, right?
And we talked about a little bit about this, the last time we sat down, and we were talking about just being your authentic self, just being you, just being true to you.
Yeah.
And that's, you were true to yourself, true to who you wanted to be. And now you you're this guy.
Yeah, with my own style, you know, with my own creation of mine. Yeah, it's true. Even, you know, your art piece, right? You remember I told you that?
Yeah.
It's, I start, you know, because every artist, they get on a point that they become the starving artist, right? That they're trying to make it, so they have to go with the flow. It's the same, you know, when I was a musician, right? We had to go at the bars and play cover songs, right?
Do what you got to do.
Play everything.
Exactly.
I remember I was playing Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, all these, you know, old rock bands, you know, so you have to do this.
Yeah, you got to pay the
Till
bills.
you start, you know, you're learning, you got that experience for you to go in your own style and say, now I want to record my CD with my original songs, you know, and do what I love, right? That's
but you
the
put
right
in the
way.
time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You put in the time by doing that,
For
right?
sure.
Going to the trenches,
yeah,
right?
You know, and music's art too, right?
100%.
So art was the same thing. You know, I had, you know, that time that, you know, I was doing a lot of custom pieces all the time, and people were loving it. But for me, it was, you know, a big challenge, and it was, you know, I was getting stressed out doing custom piece, because they give you, you know, like a little guide, you know, okay, I want this, this, and you have to go back to your studio, figure it out, and, you know, try to create, you know, something that they're expecting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, thank God I never had anybody that's like, oh, D, I'm sorry, man, I don't like this one. Can we create something else? I never had that. But, you know, but in my head, you know, in the back of my head, it was always like, oh my God, if they don't love it, if they don't like it, if they, you know. So that stress for me to put the whole piece together was super stressful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got on a point that I'm like, listen, I'm a real artist, you know. I've been doing this for so long, you know. I start in Brazil, so now I need to find my own style.
Yes.
Right? So that's when I released a small documentary about myself, talking about that. And then I just literally, I went to the studio. I create 12 pieces, totally from my heart, and it was sold out. I put a show together, and I'm like, see, I don't need to be stressing myself out and doing, you know, all these custom pieces for the money, because I understand we need sometimes, right? I had to go through this, right? For the experience, to learn more about the art, you know, to make my money too, to be comfortable, for me to start creating my own art, right? And I did. And then, I just started putting all these crazy pieces out. And now, you know, I just have the pink punk. Yeah.
As everybody knows you. So we covered a lot with that first question. So I'm going to try to like dive in a little bit. Talk to me about the different sides of art. And, you know, we talked a little bit about, you know, painting for the money versus, you know, painting to be you, and just like, what does that look like? So we talked about the pink punk. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's interesting. The pink punk, when I used to do the illegal tags in Brazil, I used to call myself a little punk, right? Not because I was, you know, nothing. It was just my thing, right? And it was a thing in Brazil, doing tags. Here too, everywhere. New York, that's where everything started.
Yeah.
So I used to call myself a little punk. So one day I'm like, I want to have a piano at my house, and I want to paint that piano. I want to funk it up and just do something crazy, right? That was one of my little dreams, right? Yeah. So, and again, I just wanted to be free, just do whatever I want on that piano, right? Not thinking what people think is gonna be cool, whatever. I said, no, I wanna do me on that piano. So out of nowhere, I started drawing some Pac-Mans, you know, some little smile face with a punk head on top. But it was just like the same color. And I have a thing that I became famous for, the colorful murals. When I do big murals, it's super colorful. And I always, every single mural that I paint, I start with the yellow and I finish with the hot pink, which is my favorite color. And it's the color that brings like so much happiness, and it's a vibrant color.
How can you see pink and not be happy?
Right? Exactly. So I'm like, oh my God, you know, the little Pac-Man with the pink punk was nice, but I'm like, if I just throw something there, and out of nowhere, I decide to throw the pink, you know, the little punk here in pink. And I loved it. I'm like, okay, it's cool. But I didn't know it was something that was going to catch, that people are going to love it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't, as an artist, you don't have to do for people. You have to paint from your heart. And then, it's not everybody's going to love, right? I do have people, I don't love hopping. But I have people that love hopping.
Yeah.
There's artists that use a lot of blues. I don't like blues, So it's just taste, right? You cannot make everybody happy.
Exactly.
But I did that. And then I had an NFT platform, and I was signing Ronaldinho, which is signed in my head right now.
There he is.
Yeah. I decided to use this one special today. I had the only wear, special
That
occasions.
is a gorgeous hat.
Yeah.
And an amazing footballer.
Exactly.
One of my favorites in the world.
So, we signed Ronaldinho to be the ambassador of our NFT platform. And then Ronaldinho came, and we had the logo of the company, right? It was like a world, but it was kind of like more nice, more designed. And then I decided to do the pink punk on top and create the merchandise for him to wear. Because, he was going to come, was going to shoot a commercial, was going to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? Now we're going to put, the New World logo of my pink punk just to see, right? So I did. He loved it. So I did a hoodie, T-shirt, tank top. We did everything. And I took him to the Raptors game. He was in a courtside. Took him to Toronto FC and wearing the pink punk.
Yeah.
So next day, my Instagram was
crazy.
Crazy. They're like, what's this pink punk hat? What is that? Like, where can I buy, the hoodie?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Again, I'm like, there's a thing. So the pink punk is a thing. And from there, I'm like, now I know.
You got it.
Since then, I didn't stop. So I'm like, thank you, Ronaldinho.
Thank you, Ronaldinho.
for my motto. And he's just a big celebrity. He was posting on his Instagram too and all that. And he was just literally people messaging. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
All that just from putting it together, expressing yourself.
And I got the energy, I got the vibe from people, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's
and
crazy.
now it's funny because today the hopping, people, they like, that's Diogo Snow's color. So when they go to my events, when they go to my birthday party, or if they go anywhere that I'm related to, they gonna, some people are gonna wear pink.
That's
or
right.
something.
I saw the girls at the event. They're wearing their pink dresses the other night. I'm like, look at these people supporting them, right?
Right, for sure.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. So, let me ask you this: what motivates you? What keeps you going? What's the reason why you do the things you do?
I think my life in general is a big motivation for myself. Again, my story. But, today I would say my kid. Everything I do now, all my focus it's for my kid, right?
Yeah.
So every day I wake up with the big energy, and I know that one day it's going to be for him, right?
The next generation.
So, but everyday life, it's, it's my motivation. I can be walking the street, see some whatever, see a car or somebody walking by with a T-shirt, whatever. I'm from there. I'll get ideas, and it keep me, just keep me going. It's just crazy. Yeah. My everyday life is my motivation too.
Every day. You just pull something out of every day.
Always.
And then just take it back to the studio and try to.
And then, just go and start sketching, putting something together. But my kid is my motivation to my family in general, right? Yeah, it's we're doing for them at the end of the day, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
that's the reason why we do everything we do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I often ask myself, how much is enough? How much do you need to push? How far do you need to go, right? And being a father, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Like, for you, how much is enough? How far do you go? How far do you push, right? Like, when do you stop? Do you ever stop?
Yeah. No. Oh, the good thing about art, you can just keep going, right? There's no, there one day going, oh my God, I can't paint anymore, right? But I think enough is just, now I just found that balance in my life, right? Again, I'm not chasing that money. I'm letting everything happen like organic, right? And of course, spending more time with the family, traveling more. I'm trying to enjoy my life as much as I can, right? I'm not just thinking like crazy, like work. Of course, I told you, right? My everyday is my motivation, inspire me, and all that. So at the end of the day, I'm always working. I don't even call work.
It's
right?
not really work,
It's,
though.
you know,
You
yeah,
just
because
go
I
about
love
it.
it's my passion, right? So every day I'm always doing a little something, right? I can be traveling, I see something, I'll get my iPad, I'll sketch, you know, or if I'm here, I go to the studio. But, you know, I think it's that. It's just find the balance that you're happy, you know. There is people, of course, they see others, right? Oh my God, I want to get on that level. I want to be powerful like that. Like for me, you know, everybody knows their own life, right? But for me, enough is just pretty much be good with my family, be health, you know, not stressing out, doing what I love. And that's it, man. And just keep going, because of this way, bro, you can go up to 100.
Because now
right?
you're relaxed.
And you don't
you're just
feel
doing
it.
you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But that's
for sure.
that's what it's about. And you know, I ask this question to a lot of people because you know you get to learn a little bit about them, right? Like you said, it's not about the money.
No, it's not.
You're not doing it for the money, right? You're doing it because this is actually what makes you happy.
Yes.
You're doing it because you know that the next generation's there, it's in need, and you got to put the time and energy into them, right? But you found another way to do it.
Yeah, another way to do it, because listen, I don't want to, you know, have to stress myself out doing art. That's one of the reasons why, number one, why I stopped doing, no, I didn't stop, why I kind of slowed down on the custom pieces, right? And the second one was this, right? I don't want to just sketch myself miserable doing art just to chase the money, just to, no, this is something that I love. You know, now it's actually something, if I stop doing this, you know, I'll just be like, what I'm going to do? What's next? You know?
Because it's part of you.
Yeah.
It's who you are.
Part of me. It's me. So it's something that, you know, it's something that you love, you always have to take care of, right? So
Makes
I love
sense.
doing my art, so I have to make sure that I'm taking care of, you know, myself and everything that goes around me, just to let me keep going. That's it.
So dare I ask you, do you have a favorite piece or an inspirational piece that you would say you, I don't like saying favorite because I don't want to exclude anybody, but you know, just a piece you'd say like, this is like my inspiration. I love this or that. What would it be? Is it a few different artists?
Yeah, every piece that I do, you know, I just love it. I know there's some pieces that I painted that I didn't like it, that I just went over, I painted, and I just did everything again. But recently, actually, the latest piece that I did for an art show that I did, Peter Triantos, the one that you actually were there, the one with the 20th century frame, with the thick frame.
Yeah.
So I bought the art piece, and it was funny because a friend of mine, he's trying to teach his kid how to be more responsible and appreciate more, you know, the money, the work, and all that, right? So they were gonna do like a garage sale, and I don't know, this rich family gave the piece, and she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put for my son to sell the piece. So when I saw that, I'm like, no, I want to buy this piece from him. So she did like a whole lot of things with the kid to teach him, you know, to appreciate things. And she was like, okay, Diogo is interested, you have to work for it. So she was teaching him a lesson. And at the same time, I'm like, I want that piece, right?
Yes.
Because it means a lot to me as an artist, watching all these, you know, 20th century artists painting all these beautiful pieces. I'm like, this is something, you know, with a big value that I'm going to acquire, and I'm going to turn this into like more like a modern with my style,
Exactly.
right? So I did, and actually became, so we put at the art show
Yeah.
there, and, you know, we priced it high, and I'm like, Peter, I don't want to sell this
This
piece.
is not really for sale. This is so people can look at it and understand.
Yes, they're like, listen,
Right?
if we sell, of course, I cannot get attached
Yeah.
to my art pieces, but I don't know. And that piece was a big hit, right? Everybody
Yeah.
was taking a picture in front of that piece and stuff.
But how many of them knew the background? Look at that,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like
true.
even in
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went and I saw it and I'm staring at it, I'm looking, and now I'm saying I got to stare at this thing all over again.
For sure. Yeah.
You still got it?
I got it. Yeah,
Perfect, because I'm coming to see it.
It's there.
I got to see it all over again, right?
For sure, man. So, it was a lot of work to create that piece. But I don't know, it just became my baby, right? I'm like, I think I want to see this in my studio, And even though, because it's hard to find pieces like this, right? It's super, like, they don't make those beautiful and crazy frames. It's all handmade, right? I'm like, I cannot let this piece go.
No, you're gonna capture that.
I want to keep
make
that.
it modern,
Yeah,
put the funky spin on
sure.
it, right?
Yeah.
And watch what it would turn into.
Yeah, so that that piece now, but all my pieces, I love them all. If I don't love it, I just gonna paint it and just do it again.
So underneath, you might find a layer.
You might find, if you water the piece, take all the paint off, you might find another one. So that's the original one.
Know,
Imagine.
right?
That's a good idea.
It's a whole other
You might
business.
find that in a lot of my pieces. I'm joking.
Talk to me a little bit about the business side of art. Like, what does that look like, right? So, we know that obviously you're creating, you're doing all these things. But what is the business side of art? Like, how does that work as a Canadian artist?
Yeah, I'm still learning a lot too, right? But, people say that, art has no price. You can price your art, whatever you want, right? But of course, you have to kind of understand more and respect it, the artists that are on the game too. So you don't kind of like, anybody can literally just go paint, and if they're gonna sell, you don't know. If you want to price it high, you're gonna sell, you don't know, right? You take your chances, right? But of course, you have to follow the market. Your collectors, right? You have to see the list of your collectors. Even my list of celebrity collectors are massive, right? Plus my other collectors too, not talking about celebrities, but talking about numbers of art pieces, right? My biggest collector is in LA with 24 pieces.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My second one is in Miami with 16 pieces. And then I have another one in Toronto, Nick, with, I think he has like 13 pieces. And I have Gary, which Gary's one of my best friends now. And he's not quantity, he's price-wise. He's the one that bought the Lamborghini when I hang the Lamborghini on the crane during Art Basel, and I spray painted live. So Gary's the one that bought the Lambo for $500,000.
Oh my gosh.
So, so Gary from AutoQuest Group. Yeah. So he's the biggest one talking about numbers, right?
Wow.
Plus he owns actually a lot of pieces too. But yeah, it's all that, right? You have to build, your career. You have to invest in your career, right? I did so much for my career, and I'm still doing, right? Of course, there's people now, they're going to come, they see that you're doing, they see that you're, people are selling a piece for this price, and they'll go, oh my God, start painting. I can sell for this price too. I seen that, like, true. Oh my God. Yeah, so, and then you're going to see, and this person did one art show in their lives. Yeah. They're never being a part of anything big. They did one art show, one thing, and then, but whatever, right? Yeah. Whatever, goes, they know their flow. But for me, I respect, right? I have to respect the market, the galleries, right? You don't need to be signed by a gallery, but I am signed by a gallery here. I am signed by a gallery in Brazil. So there's all that, right? It's like in the music industry too, right? You have, to, of course, have like big features, big artists, get your record label and all that. You go through all the, but just on a different way, right? With the art. But, that's pretty much how I see it, right? Some people can just see in a different way.
Well, clearly it's working.
Yeah, clearly it's working. Yeah, for me, it's working, right? And I'm respecting everybody, right? It's not just that I'm like, oh my God, okay, my piece is fire, I know that it's beautiful. This guy is selling for this much. Okay, I think my piece can sell for this price too. No, it takes time. It takes time. You're because in your way. Because it's true. One time you can raise your price so much that you're going to stop selling. Yeah. Right? And actually, my collector from LA, he wanted to know everything about myself. The galleries that I'm signed, the price that I'm selling, my collectors, my list, and all that, right? For him to buy, because he loved my art piece, but he understand about art. You know, he wants to buy from somebody that he knows that's go up in value.
Exactly.
Right? But there's people too. There's the ones that buy our piece as an investment, and there's the ones that buy our piece, you know, just because they love it. They think it's beautiful, right?
Exactly.
They, oh my God, I love this art piece. I want it, right? I don't care who's the artist. I don't care how much it is. I don't, you know, I just love it. I want this, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like me. One day I saw Chris Brown, because I'm not like a big like brand guy, you know. I do have my brand stuff, you know, like Gucci shoes, stuff like this, but I'm not a big brand guy. And I hear Chris Brown saying that one day, and I related so much because I buy what I like it, what I love it, what makes me feel good.
Yes.
I can be walking and see a little shop with a $10 t-shirt. I'm going to buy that t-shirt if I love, and I'm going to rock it the same way that I'm going to Gucci or Louis Vuitton and buy the $1,000 t-shirt.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I'll wear a Zara t-shirt.
For sure.
I don't care. What do you mean? What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with Zara.
For sure. Yeah, there's nothing wrong, right? So, and I'm like that too, right? And it's the same as art piece. You know, you're going to say, oh yeah, I love it. I just want it.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't care.
There's the business side.
There's the business side, and you have to be business, because if you don't understand the business side of it, it's everything you do. Everything you do.
So let me ask you the last question. And it's the one that I'm sure everybody that's, you know, an artist, an inspiring artist, it's probably the question that any inspiring artist would want to know. And, you know, it's, what would you say to an inspiring artist, a person that is thinking about getting into art, is, you know, wanted to take on art as a business, as a passion? What would you say to them today? Would you tell them that it was worth it?
Of course it's worth it. You know, the thing is, there's a lot of artists that they just pretty much looking at someone's art and try to copy, try to do the same thing, whatever. I'm like, try to stay away from this as much as possible, you know, because this is it's not gonna build your career, right? Of course, you can do the custom. Try to create your own vision. Even if you do customs, you're not copying anybody. You just, like I do, you know, you just get from whoever wants to buy your piece, you just get the ideas, the story behind, and then you're gonna, you know, create that from your heart, right? But I would say that just believe it and work for it, because before, people are going to be like, even it's funny, even now, today, you know, people see me driving my car, you know, I have the pinky Lambo, and people ask me, say, oh my God, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm an artist, I paint. You paint?
Oh, gosh.
It's a little discrimination. It's like, but how can you afford a car like this?
Exactly.
So they don't understand. Right? The mentality is, you know, they're like, no, you can't buy a car like this painting, right? So, and it's that, right? Just believe and just go and do it, right? But try to be, you know, create your own style. And if you don't need the art money to live yet, the best thing that you can do is just focus on create your own style. Right? This is really good too. Let's say if you have a job that you don't like and you want to, you know, get away of it, but try to build fast, you know, your own style. Don't even think, because my thing, it was because I had no job. So I had to go through the custom art pieces, and I had to do different, right? Just for me to get the money, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, you know, I have bills, I have kid, you know. But if you don't, you know, don't need the money from the art. If you have a different job, then you know you're like, oh my God, I cannot do this anymore. But anything you want to do, even music too. I tell all my friends, you know, if you hate your job, what do you love? So, okay, so now you invest. If you have 2 hours, 3 hours of your day, do your hard work, but get all your money and invest in your career. So when you're good, you leave this one and then you keep going with this one.
The one that you love.
You know, save as, you know, as much as you can. Save your money, because I did this. Just going back, when actually, I forgot to mention this, but when I left the record label, which supposed, you know, to sign to be a singer, and then ended up not happening, I left and I started painting. And then when I saw the business side, the people start buying, that I start understanding more about art. I got on a point that I'm like, oh my God, my money is gone.
Oh my God.
I had my saving, I was investing, I was buying canvas, I was promoting, I was doing all my stuff, traveling to do, give pieces to people. Even Neymar got my first piece, Drake got my piece. I was putting all my time into that. And then I got on a point that I'm like, oh my God, like all my money's gone. What I'm doing now? So look what happened. So I had this contractor that I used to work with back in the days in construction. So out of nowhere, this guy called me. And he's like, Diogo, I have a house. Do you still doing construction? I'm like, yes. He's like, bro, crazy. And then he was like, okay. And before I used to do taping, after the drywall, the mud, the plaster. So that's my job before. I never did nothing else before, So he's like, okay, I need somebody to do the insulation. I need somebody to do the drywall. I need somebody to do the taping, and I need somebody to paint. And I'm like, no worries. I'll get everything done. I never, even when I was in the construction, in all my time, I never got a full job like this, right, from scratch. And I'm like, no way, I can do it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm literally zero money in my bank account.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not selling anything. I'm like, and this guy called me. So I called one of my best friends. He owns a big construction company. And I'm like, Fernando, I need your help.
Yeah.
I got this contract, I didn't sign the contract, but I got this deal and I need to, I need this money. I need to go. And I explained the whole situation to him. And then he was like, don't worry, I'll come with you in the house. So we have to measure everything. It was a big mansion. We have to measure how much insulation was gonna go in the house, how much drywall, how much, material for taping, everything. I'm like, oh my God. So he helped me with everything. I signed the contract, and then I got a big chunk of money as a deposit. So what I did was I clear up the workers first. First was the insulation. I'm like, boom, make sure they're all good. Yeah. They're all paid off. And then I had the big chunk of money. I'm like, now I'm good. Now I can invest even more in my art career. And, and that's what I started doing. And then I finished the whole house. I had a good amount of money in my bank account. And you think I was saving? No, I'm investing. And then from there, everything blew up.
That's the best.
Yeah, so that was actually that I forgot to mention. So that's why I tell my friends today, if you have something that you don't like, that you work and you don't like it, just invest as much as you can.
Invest
and then you take this money, and then you can take a break.
Yes.
And then you say, listen, I have my bill. That's my mentality. Again, it's not the right way to do it. I don't know. It worked for me. But I'm like, you have, 3-4 months rent paid. You have your car paid for 3-4 months. You have some money more for you to invest. Just go and do it. You have 4 months for you to push to the max. And then you're going to see the feedback, right? And I at the beginning, I was telling everybody, listen, if everything goes down, I'm still a construction worker.
I'm still here.
Right? I'm still here. I'm not going to go broke. I'll go back and I do construction. Of course, I don't want, because, it's not my passion. At the beginning, I enjoyed doing it, right? When I came from Brazil, I didn't do nothing better. I was just enjoying doing it. But if everything goes down, I'll go back to construction.
Because you're still...
Of course. I'm still a hustler, man.
That's it.
And I will save the money and, we'll build it again.
You're an entrepreneur, my friend.
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur. This has been fantastic. I don't even know how else we can wrap it up or what else to say. So I guess before we do wrap it up, why don't we tell everybody, where do they find you in case they don't already know?
Yeah, Instagram is pretty much, the biggest platform now. So it's Diogo Snow, Diogo Snow, like the weather.
The pink pump.
It's funny, actually, people, they're like, why snow? Because, we live in Canada. Yeah. I'm like, no, that's actually my last name, Neves. That means snow in English. Yeah, in Portuguese,
there
Neves.
You go.
So I'm like, okay, I got it.
Diogo Snow.
Yeah, that's it.
My friend, thank you again.
Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Uptown Experts, we're out.